Okay, so you needed to get to a 60 SMART score on T6. So T6 is just over volume of pyramids and cones. So you're not going to see any other 3D figure except for a pyramid and except for a cone. So the first thing that you need to do when you're faced with this problem is you need to think, is this a pyramid or is this a cone? Because depending on what shape it is, that's going to change whichever formula you use. Okay? So this is a pyramid. So the first thing I'm going to do is on my scratch paper, I'm going to write down the formula for volume of a pyramid, which is volume equals 1/3 times capital B times H. Now we know that that capital B means the area of your base. My base in this diagram is the bottom of the pyramid, which is this square right here. That is my base. So I need to find the area of that shape. Well, that's a square. So formula for area of a square is just length times width. My length is 4, my width is 4, so 4 times 4. My area of my base, my capital B, is going to be 16 because 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, so now I'm ready to plug everything back in to my formula. I'm going to bring down this 1/3. Ooh, hold on. I'm going to bring down this 1/3. My capital B is going to be 16. And my H is my height. Your height goes from the bottom, from your base, to the very tip top of your pyramid. And they're saying that that measure is 3. So where it has an H, I'm going to plug in a 3. Okay? Now in my calculator, I'm just going to type 16 times 3. That's all I want to know. 16 times 3 is 48. Okay? So then I would do 48 times 1/3. Now, when you multiply something times 1/3, that is the exact same thing as dividing it by 3. So in my calculator, I'm going to type 48 divided by 3. And that gives me 16. So that means that my volume of this pyramid is going to be 16 cubic meters. Type in 16. Yay. Okay. So this is also a pyramid. So I'm going to use the same formula that I just used for the other pyramid. So that when I have my scratch paper, that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to write down volume equals 1/3 capital B H. Okay, over here I'm going to figure out what my capital B is, which is going to be the area of my base. Here's my base, which it looks like it's a rectangle. The formula for area of a rectangle is length times width. Okay, my length is 7, my width is 9, so I'm going to do 7 times 9. So that means that my area of my base, or my capital B, is going to be 63, because 7 times 9 is 63. So now I'm ready to plug it back into my big formula. I'm going to bring down this 1/3. My capital B is going to be 63. And then my height goes from the base to the very tip top point, which they're saying is 10. So where I have my H, I'm going to substitute in 10. Okay, just like earlier, I'm going to figure out what this is first. So 63 times 10 is going to be 630. And I'm going to multiply that times 1/3. If I multiply something times 1/3, I'm really just dividing by 3. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 630 divided by 3. And I get 210. So my volume of this pyramid is going to be 210 cubic I have another pyramid. So I'm writing on my scratch paper. The first thing I'm going to say is a formula. Formula for a pyramid is volume equals 1/3 times capital B times H. Okay, so let's look at my base this time. Here's my base, and it is a triangle. And it's a triangle with this right angle. Okay, so the formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 times base times height. My base of this triangle is 9, and the height, because it goes from the bottom to the top, is going to be 8. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 9 times 8. Okay? So I'm typing that into my calculator. I get 36. So my capital B for this problem is going to be 36. Okay, so I'm going to come back to my big formula, and I'm going to bring down the 1/3. I'm going to substitute in 36 for capital B. And my height, it looks like it's going to be 5. It goes from the bottom to the top point. That's going to be 5. Okay, I'm going to type this in my calculator, 36 times 5, and I get 180. So I'm going to multiply 180 by 1/3, which is the same thing as dividing by 3. So in my calculator, I typed 180 divided by 3, and I got 60. So the volume of that pyramid is going to be 60 cubic yards. Okay, clear. Looks like I have another pyramid. First thing I need to do is write down the formula of a pyramid. We should have that down pat by now. Volume equals 1/3 times capital B times H. Look at my base. My base is another triangle. It's got a right angle. I'm going to draw this triangle over here so if it was just like sitting up straight. Okay, so that's what that base would look like if it was just laying flat on your paper. Okay, so the formula for area of a triangle, because that's what I need to find, the area of the base to get this capital B, is going to be 1/2 times base times height. My base is going to be 9. My height is going to be 6. Can you see that from this triangle right here? This is the base. This is the height. So 1/2 times 9 times 6. Typing that in my calculator. And I get 27. So for this problem, my capital B, the area of my base is going to be 27. So now I'm ready to plug this into my formula. I'm going to bring down this 1/3. I'm going to substitute in a 27 for my capital B. And then my H from the base to the tip top point is 9. So my height for this problem is going to be 9. I'm going to type 27 times 9 into my calculator first. And I get 243. So I'm going to multiply that number by 1/3, or I can divide it by 3. So I'm typing in 243 divided by 3, and I get 81. So the volume of this pyramid is going to be 81 cubic centimeters. Okay, another pyramid. We should be good at pyramids by now, but I'm going to do another one. Okay. Volume, let's change the color up. Volume of a pyramid is volume equals 1/3 times capital B times H. Okay, let's look at my base. My base looks like a rectangle. The formula for area of a rectangle is just going to be length times width, or base times height, however you want to think about it. My length is going to be 12. My width is going to be 13. So capital B is going to be 12 times 13. 12 times 13 is going to give me 156. That means my capital B is going to be 156. So now I'm ready to plug in everything to my formula. I'm going to bring down this 1/3. I'm going to substitute in a 156 for my capital B. And then my height from the bottom to the tip top point is going to be 12. So I'm going to put a 12 in for my height. I'm going to type in 156 times 12 into my calculator first. So 156 times 12 is going to be 1,872. And I'm going to multiply that times 1/3, or we could think about it as dividing by 3. So in my calculator, I'm typing in 1,872 divided by 3, and I get 624. So the volume of this pyramid is going to be 624 cubic feet. Okay, another pyramid. Let's change the color again. Do like a really bright. Okay, volume of a pyramid. Volume equals 1/3 times capital B times 8. Let's look at my base. My base looks like a rectangle. So area of a rectangle is length times width. My length is 10. My width is 12. So I'm going to do 10 times 12. That means that the area of my base, or my capital B, is going to be 120. Okay, so let's go back to my formula. I'm going to bring this 1/3 down. I'm going to substitute in 120 for my capital B. I'm going to look at my picture to find my H. Here is the measure that's going to the very top. That represents the height. So the height's going to be 20. Okay, I'm going to type in 120 times 20. And I get 2,400. And I'm going to bring down that 1/3. Okay, so now I'm going to divide 2,400 by 3. And I get 800. So the volume of this pyramid is going to be 800 cubic meters. Another pyramid. Maybe in a minute we'll get a cone before we get to 60. If not, I'll have to just go find some. Okay, so the volume of the pyramid, volume equals 1/3 times capital B times 8. My base is another rectangle. The area, for the area of a rectangle, you do length times width. Here's my length, here's my width. So I'm going to do 11 times 15. I'm going to type that into my calculator, 11 times 15, and I get 165. So I'm going to bring down this 1/3. I'm going to substitute 165 in for my capital B, and my H is going to be 10. Okay, I'm going to type 165 times 10 into my calculator just to make sure. I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I don't want to make any mistakes. So I have 1,650, and I'm going to multiply that value times 1/3, or you can think about it as dividing by 3. So I'm typing 1,650 divided by 3, and I get 550. So that means that the volume of this pyramid is going to be 550 cubic meters. Looks like I'm going to get all the way to 60 by just doing pyramids. Okay, so I'm going, instead of doing this one, I'm going to see if I can find us a cone to do. There's a cone, but let's go back and let's see if it'll give me a different cone. I don't want to do that cone. I want to do, well, okay. I found us a cone to do, so I can work a couple of problems that involve a cone. I had to go back down to 0 to find it, but that's okay. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is write down the formula for volume of a cone, which is volume equals 1/3 times pi r squared h. Okay, they want us to use 3.14 for pi, so I'm going to bring down the 1/3. I'm going to substitute 3.14 in for my pi, and now I need to try to find my r squared. They have given me my r because it goes from edge to center of the circle, and that value is 5. So that means that my radius is 5. Right here it has r squared. I'm going to substitute in 5 squared. Okay, my height, just like with a pyramid, goes from the base to the top point. So my height for this problem is going to be 10. Okay, so just like earlier, I am going to type in these 3 numbers into my calculator first. So I'm typing in 3.14 times 5 squared times 10, and I get 785. And I'm going to multiply that number times 1/3, which we have already learned is dividing by 3. So I'm going to type in 785 divided by 3, and I'm going to get 261.67. It tells me to round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so I looked in my calculator and I had to round, and that's what I got. Okay, so I'm going to type in 261.67. Okay, let's do this cone because they gave me another cone, so let's do this one really quick and then I'll be done. Okay, so I write down the formula for volume of a cone. Volume equals 1/3 times pi r squared h. I bring down my 1/3. Instead of pi, I'm going to use 3.14. And now I need to find my r, my radius. So in this diagram, they go from edge of the circle to edge of the circle. So that's technically the diameter. So to get the radius, I've got to cut this value in half because I only want from edge to center. So if I take 4 and I cut it in half, that's just going to be 2. So your radius for this diagram is actually going to be 2. So right here where it has r squared, I'm going to substitute in 2 squared. Okay, my h goes from base to top point, and so that's going to be 3. So I'm going to substitute in a 3 for the h. I am going to type in these 3 numbers first. 3.14 times 2 squared times 3, and I get 37.68. Okay, I need to multiply that value by 1/3, or we know you can divide it by 3. So I'm typing in my calculator 37.68 divided by 3. And I get 12.56. And I do not have to round that. That's just already cut off at 2 decimal places. So the volume of this cone is 12.56 cubic meters. Okay, I'm going to do one more cone because I only did 2. So I'm going to do one more, and then I'll be done. Okay? Volume of a cone is volume equals 1/3 times pi r squared h. I'm going to bring down the 1/3. Instead of pi, I'm going to use 3.14. I need my radius, which is right here because it goes from center to edge, which is 7. So instead of r squared, I'm going to put 7 squared. And then my height goes from bottom to tip top, and that's going to be 8. I'm going to type this into my calculator. 3.14 times 7 squared times 8. I get 1,230.88. I'm going to bring down my 1/3. Okay, so now I'm going to take this number and I'm going to divide it by 3. And so my volume equals 410.29. Okay, I just needed 2 decimal places. It gave me more, but I had to round because it said nearest 100. So I rounded at 29. So 410.29. Submit. Okay. If you have any questions, email me. We can have a private FaceTime, a private Zoom. It doesn't matter. Let me know. See you later.